What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Quad Shot Podcast. As always, we're stoked to be here. We're fired up and we're ready to go. Roan,
come on.
How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everyone out there? Quad Shot family. Hope everyone's doing well. Doing good, Ado. Doing good. Monday morning out here in sunny San Diego. Let's see what the weather looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's going to break today. I think we'll be okay. What's going on your end, brother?
How's your week? Not much, dude. Not much. Good 2 weeks. Definitely dialed in, fired up. Yeah, dude, it's springtime on Cape Cod. You know how it goes, dude. Things are getting green. People are actually getting happy.
Things are picking up, huh?
Things are picking up. It's nice. I'm getting real excited here for the summer. What do you got? How we doing?
Good, dude. Good. Things have been good. Doing well. Had a good, relaxing weekend. Actually cooked for the first time last night in a long time. So
What'd you make?
Was cooking out. Asian beef bowls. So we went rice, ground beef, avocado, broccoli. Boom.
Dude, I make Asian beef bowls all the time. Would you use like a hoisin sauce, soy sauce?
Bachan.
Huh?
Bachan. So it's called bachan. You know what bachan sauce is?
No.
Excellent. I recommend Ado.
Is that just it's like a one-hit wonder? That's all you put on the beef?
One-hit wonder. Dude, it's so amazing.
And then you do white rice and...
White rice, yeah, jasmine rice, and broccoli, avocado, some sesame seeds. So I wanted to surprise... my girlfriend had a long weekend, so I wanted to surprise her with a home-cooked meal. So
nice, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it went over well. But yeah, life's been good, man. Just been last 2 weeks working a lot. Work's been busy, trying to close some deals, and we're here. Looking forward to today. I know we're stacking some clips. We're stacking some reels. So get the Instagram popping off soon here for Quad Shot. But yeah, looking forward to the episode and getting into it.
Stacking reels and closing deals.
Come on.
Nice, man. I also cooked last night with my girlfriend, and we made a ramen bowl. It was actually pretty good, man. Little chicken bone broth, ramen noodles, like a runny egg. It's like semi-hard boiled, but it's still a little bit runny. Katsu chicken. So we took the chicken breast, dipped it in seasoned flour. We did our seasonings, our Asian seasonings, and then dipped it in egg, and then dipped it in panko breadcrumbs, put it in the oven, and then little strips on top. It was pretty good. We've made it before. I think it wasn't as good as the first time we did it, but it was still good.
All right, it did the job.
It did the job. It was really good. But dude, cooking's so fun, isn't it? It's just like you get to I don't know. It's fun. Rewarding.
100%.
And when you meal prep all the time, I think meal prepping is great. It becomes a little bit more of like something you just got to do it. If food is energy, you meal prep. Routine. You have it throughout the week. You just grab it, eat it, go. It's easy, and it works great throughout a busy week. But then on the weekend, you can still have a relationship with food where you want flavors, right? You're still being calorie conscious, macro conscious, whatever, but you still want to switch it up with the flavors, and you know what I mean? So I like doing that. It's a lot of fun.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we both chefed up last night, man. Let's go.
Ooh, yeah.
You been working out?
Yeah. 6 days a week, baby. One rest day.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Been going well? Been getting bigger? Seeing gains or what?
Definitely seeing gains. I'm
Good.
Implementing just small changes. Just little things like form, how you approach sets, right? So like warm up set, 2 working sets, and then a failure set. And then intentionally trying to up the weight each week with each exercise, recording everything.
Yeah.
So that actually, I've been seeing gains. It's actually impressive. As opposed to how I used to be, I'd just show up to the gym and I'd lift weights. It was fun. I still enjoyed it and I felt great, but I'm now seeing substantial progress due to the structure and plan that I have when I step into the gym. I'm like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? A little bit different of approach. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Well, let's get into it, dude. I'd love to read my buzz of the day and we start rolling here.
Dude, I'd love to. Are you sipping on anything before we jump to it, man?
Dude, you know what? I already hammered away. I already put one back.
Did you get some on the mustache there?
Kid, I got a nice stash for you for everyone today. Dude, I just wanted to switch it up. It was long. I was like, I'll just keep the stash,
Dude, it looks good. It looks good. So you had a frother this morning, though. Was it good? Did it get you going?
Oh, dude, the frother. Unreal, brother. Unreal. Yeah, it was actually, so my girlfriend and I, we got this instant coffee.
Okay.
It's organic, like dark roast instant coffee from Sprouts. Because like we wake up early now. She's got to go do her thing. I do my thing. So like I usually have early morning calls. So I'm like, might as well just try to save some money, throw on some hot water and just pour it over, mix it in, milk, good to go. So dude, it's actually been really good. So for all y'all out there that haven't had instant coffee, recommend.
Dude, I actually saw that at Whole Foods. I've seen the instant coffee before. I wrote it off when I saw it at like Stop and Shop or whatever. But I saw an instant coffee at Whole Foods, and it looked like a brand that actually puts care into their product. Organic, fair trade. Is it good, like flavor-wise? Because I know you're a coffee connoisseur.
I am. We both are now. But dude, honestly, so it's interesting. I get what they do. So you get really hot boiling water, like, you boil it in the kettle. And then there's really refined beans. So like, how you grind beans, right? It's like a certain texture, but this is even like finer than that because it has to kind of like just melt into the hot water, right? And like, it just kind of like mixes in. So there's no leftover like residue or like, it literally just mixes in with the hot water. So it's like a hot cup of coffee. So they do a good job of like really refining that practice. But it's good. It's yummy. If you get like an dark roast or organic blend, like it's going to do the job.
Is there a serving size or do you just kind of spoon it in?
They say 1 tablespoon, but I mean, I like my coffee stronger,
Yep.
So yeah, I do like a few tablespoons to be honest. But
have you looked on the ingredients on the back? Is it like just ground coffee bean?
Yeah.
Or is there a filler or anything?
No.
Wow.
No weird shit.
That's interesting because you're actually consuming like the fibers of that bean. Then it's just ground down. So
true. Actually, I didn't even think of that.
Because if I make a French press, I ground it to a coarser, ground. And if I do a pour over, it's a more fine ground. But still, it's in a filter, and I'm getting none of that no particles in my coffee. So
wait, I actually just thought of it. That's a good point because honestly, one of these coffees makes me like, that'll keep me going for a long time. That's all I need is one. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, the instant coffee, man.
I like it, dude. This is a French press, coarse ground, black.
How is that?
It's good.
Straight black.
Yeah. Yep. Snowy Owl is still closed, so I'm working with this company called Groundworks Coffee, and it's their it's one of their dark roasts. It's like notes of toasted marshmallow. It's actually good, dude. It's good bean, fair trade, organic.
Why is Snowy Owl closed?
So the one in Brewster, they're moving locations just down the street.
Oh, fucking away. Oh, down the street. Okay.
Yeah, but they've been closed since like the beginning of the year. And they're supposed to be open in April. Now it's May. I'm waiting on them, dude. I'm waiting on them. I can't wait to go check it out in there, dude. Whole new storefront. Like, dude, they're going to do nights now. They call it Night Owl. So they're going to do like cocktails and coffee with tapas. So they're going to do food too.
Dude, that's going to bring in the Cape needs more places like that.
Dude, we got to check it out when you come home. This place is going to be the 100%. Spot. It's going to be so sick.
Dude, I always talk about this with you or like when we're offline or something, or my family or my mom. It's like, for as busy as Cape Cod is and how touristy it is, like we don't have great food. Let's just be honest.
No, I was actually I was talking with Morgan about this yesterday. It's like dude, I search up like healthy lunch or farm to table lunch,
Near me.
because we usually go to Whole Foods and we'll food shop and we'll get a hot bar item. But I wanted to switch it up yesterday. So we're going to go to lunch and then go to Whole Foods and skip the hot bar. But dude, D'Angelo's is coming up. Like all these, there's no like corner store's good, right?
Yeah, corner store's good, but
there's just not a lot of good, healthy options. Viv's Kitchen's good.
Yeah.
But there's no like healthy options.
I guess like in Orleans, right? You have corner store or Whole Food store or health food store, Main Street.
Yep.
What's that place called?
Orleans Whole Foods.
Orleans Whole Foods on Main Street, corner store, and then you have Friends. You have
Viv's Kitchen.
Viv's Kitchen. Like it's not a bad mix, but Sunbird. Yeah. So Orleans isn't bad for that. Like that's the spot if you're gonna. But like you go up north, right? You go up to like Eastham, Wellfleet. Like you got nothing up there, dude.
Nothing.
Churro. P-Town even isn't like. P-Town's all commercialized, right? Like so on Commercial Street, it's all like you just have restaurants and like.
P-Town really has one good spot. I forget. It's wicked expensive though, because they like.
Yeah, they do smoothies and octavals, right?
Yeah, that matcha green place or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but like
it's actually
I don't
good.
know. I feel like for how busy the Cape is, we need more. Like, if you come in and have a kick-ass business plan, and like you want to put together a good like solid menu, like I feel like you're gonna get
Definitely.
a steady flow.
100%.
Because like Chatham doesn't have much. I mean, it's crazy how busy it gets here in the summer, and like how the food it's only like the same 3 spots.
Yeah.
And then at night, dude, you try to go look for food at like 9 p.m. There's nothing. Pizza.
Yeah.
And salad. Like that's it.
And all like the good fancy restaurants are booked out. Yeah. I know what you mean. There's definitely on the Cape opportunity for a business that would be organic, farm to table, or even just health conscious foods. I agree.
Yeah. 100%.
Definitely. All right. So do you want to get into buzz of the day? You want to start?
Let me start. I was thinking, so I've been going through a little bit of like some insecurities regarding the relationship and stuff like that. Maybe not retroactive jealousy, but just like in terms of that, like fuck, like I've been going through that last like 3 weeks, and I was like, I don't know if I can get over this. And here I am. I'm pretty much over it. And it was honestly probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with in my relationship this far. And like that's saying a lot, been 10 months in now. But I saw this quote and I was like, it makes a lot of sense because this has affected me so much that the last like 2 weeks I've been waking up. I've been starting to sleep better, but the last 3 weeks I've been waking up like at 3 a.m. Haven't been able to fall back asleep. Just been breaking down here and there, crying, like really been kind of fucked up mentally over this. And really in the grand scheme of things, it's not, I think my anxiety kind of plays a big role in like stretching that further and making me feel like it's more important than it is. Like it's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And so here's my quote. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. So when I say that, I did not expect to be hit with specific information from my girlfriend, and I have to deal with it, right? But am I going to let that break me? Am I going to let that, something my girlfriend says that's unintentional, ruin the way I show up in my relationship, ruin the way that I think about her, ruin the way that I act? Like, am I going to go down over this? No. And I'm just like, that's not me, right? I've pushed through everything else in my life. Like, why can't I push through this? So, been doing a lot of work, been going to therapy, been taking care of the body, working on my anxiety, and finally feeling so much better about everything. And that's kudos to me, for doing the work. So, and I've had to strip my ego a little bit, right? Everyone walks into a relationship with an ego and wanting to be the biggest and the best and whatever. And, that I'm understanding as a man, there's a lot more than just that. right? Being a man is showing up, having integrity, working hard, being kind, being gentle with your woman. There's so much more to it. So I think every time, like, guys, it's so hard. I mean, we have egos, right? But I think the healthiest thing to do is you've got to learn to kind of separate that. That's great. You have ego and pride. You've got to have pride, but the ego sometimes gets in the way of, your own insecurities and doubting yourself. And even when that's not even close to the reality. So this situation that I've been going through has really, I've even come out of this stronger, just because of realizing that, certain things don't matter. And then some of the reassurance I got is positive. So it's like, but even if I didn't get positive reassurance, it's like, okay, so what? What am I going to do with that information, right? Am I going to let it break me? Or am I going to work through it and move forward? So stripping the ego, I think, is super important. It's something that I never thought I'd have to deal with in a relationship. And that makes, it could have been triggered by anything. My insecurities or ego could have been hit with anything, but it just happened to be a comment and threw me for a loop. And looking back, I'm like, I do not want that to happen again. Cause unnecessary pain, damage, not only to myself, but my girlfriend. And so I thought this quote was good to bring to the table. It's like, sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. Sometimes when you don't think you have a way through, sometimes when you don't think you're going to be able to make it, sometimes when you think the easy option is just to walk away, leave the relationship. But if I did that, that would mean just me walking away from my own insecurities in my own head. And that's not the kind of man I want to be. So yeah, that's why I chose that. And it really resonated with me.
I love it, dude. I love it. And I think you brought up a lot there. And there's a couple of things that I want to kind of go back to and touch when we get the chance. The first thing being is the quote itself. And what I take away from that is, like, it's so true, dude. It's so true that when things are bad, there's negative feelings, you're down on yourself, there's something going on in your life that's causing that. And usually it's an opportunity for growth within that negativity or, slump, right? Because there's highs and there's lows. And the lows present growth opportunity, I believe. Whatever that may be, right? For you, it looked like facing your insecurity, facing your ego, taking care of your body, and grounding yourself back down, and using all these different tools to work through something in a healthy way. That's perfect, right? For someone else, that might be, it could be completely different. It just depends on the scenario, the type of approach that you want to take. But getting out of your comfort zone and feeling these negative thoughts, right? When things are falling apart, right? It's when you take the time and effort to piece things back together in a healthy way, in a grounded way, when you find the most growth within yourself. So I do really love that quote. And then you kind of segued into the ego and masculine energy, right? I think it's funny you say that, because I'll tell you later when we get to the pour over segment. I got something about masculinity this week, and it's just full circle, dude. It's funny. So we can talk about it now. We can talk about it then too. But, I think there's a lot of stuff going around right now in society about what a healthy masculine male looks like. What is healthy masculinity? And everyone's got their opinions. Everyone's, it's so important for society to have healthy masculine figures, I think. And yeah. So let's talk about the ego though, because you said you had to check yourself, right? And you had to you had an ego check. What did that look like for you? How did it feel? And how did you go about, quote unquote, checking your ego?
Yeah, I mean, how did that feel? I mean, obviously didn't feel good because I lost sleep over it for countless nights. Kind of like felt like an emotional wound, more something I reacted to. Yeah, when you hear things, you know, about your girlfriend's past, it's not easy to hear, right? So you know, it was a boundary. Obviously, I didn't set something I didn't expect to like discuss, right? So that was the hard part where it was just kind of came up. But I think it's my brain and our guys' brains put a lot of weight around things that don't matter. Locker room talk or this or that. And it's like we grow up in this society where it's like that's all that matters is like what's going on, how you know, how dominant of a man you are, like what do you do, like what are your physical characteristics or traits or like any of that shit. So it's like we grow up in that, right? And we are taught and conditioned from our environment that things like that matter, right? In a good functioning, healthy relationship and stuff like that. So it's like when we hear something that contradicts that, or is, I guess doesn't contradict that, when we hear something that contradicts or pretty much tells our ego that, you know, you're not the only one, it's like, whoa, okay. Well, what, then you start going spiraling, like, what does this mean? You know, blah, blah, what did this mean for her? But like all this stuff, right? And you go down the rabbit hole. And like, that's where you got to stop yourself because none of that matters. It's about how she feels, you know, what's going on. But yeah, it was a big hit to the ego, dude.
Right.
Woke up many nights just thinking about it. And like, I just couldn't fall asleep. And I lost like 5 pounds over it, dude. Like I was not doing well. Wow. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I wasn't eating. And I was like, I got to either figure this out or I got to leave. So, but what am I, like the principle I'm setting, right? It's like an insecure man would have probably left, right? And like not, it definitely touched insecurity, but it didn't touch something that like was permanent, right? It doesn't matter. Luckily, the department we were talking about is not, you know, a department that that concerns me. It's just more of, you know, when you love someone and you want to have that exclusivity and like, that's all you want to talk about, just you and her, right? That your partner. Like you don't want to hear anything else about anyone else. What happened, this, that, who was her ex? What did he look like? Any of that, right? So like when that stuff gets brought up, it was something that I've never experienced before because no one I've dated in the past, it's just never been a topic of conversation, right? So it's like, it really threw me off guard and threw me in a loop. And like it for a little bit, it shattered my ego. And you know what? The reason I bring this quote up is I needed that to happen.
Yep.
That guys put a lot of weight on things that don't matter. And that's what it looked like. And I struggled with it. And, you know, I talked to my therapist and talked to my girlfriend. And luckily I have great supportive people in my corner. And like, I think it was just a step I needed to take as a man to move forward and come into more of a healthy masculine perspective on life, that certain things don't matter. You know, there are intangibles that matter, right? Like how you treat your woman, how she feels with you, how safe and secure she feels. So that was a big wake up call for me because one, I never thought I'd have to go through something like that because I've always felt the best and the biggest and like and that's how we are. That's how guys are. And that's how we want to feel.
Yeah.
And me realizing what my girlfriend divulged to me was not her saying I'm not the best or the biggest. It's just her saying, she made a comment that hit me in a way that never expected to discuss or think about.
Yeah. So
usually it's, go ahead.
Back like on the ego thing, like
it's acceptance.
Right. But it negatively impacted you because there was an unhealthy relationship with comparison between you and other people. This is my understanding of it. So I'm just going off the top. And then, but I don't want people that are listening to this to think that being confident, knowing your worth, believing you can achieve great things, and, you know, all of these positive thought processes that might seem like an inflated ego. I don't believe them to be. I believe that you can have a super positive self-talk
image
in your head, right? An image, right? And you have a healthy relationship with comparison, right? And that may be removing it from the situation completely, right? Because when you start to compare yourself to other people that may be more developed in one area than you are, then it turns to a negative, self-destructive thought process that can be detrimental to your personal growth, right?
Your growth, happiness, well-being, how you show up in the relationship, everything, right? So,
and dude, it's the same thing when people see someone in a high place of success, you know, typically in the direction that they want to go in. Okay. So say I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see a barber with 1 million followers. He's making a fuckload of money and, you know, his work is impeccable. And my first thought is like, bad. Right?
Yeah.
That's unhealthy. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I should be respecting him because I know better than most people who aren't barbers what it takes to get to that point. The type of work that, well, the thing is that I don't know, but I know how hard I work on how much effort I put into my own work, right? And I know where I'm at. But if this guy's up here, pay respect. That's a grind, right? Let it inspire you to be the best that you can be. And it's not going to look the same. My success isn't going to look like his success because everybody wants something different, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's where the individual positive self-talk comes into play. You have a healthy image of who you are, a positive image of who you are, and who you were too, right? Because regret then comes into play. And it's like all of the things that you once were, you can have some negative self-talk about that too. And it can come into play with your ego. So it's accepting who you were, the things that you did, accepting where you are in this moment, having a healthy relationship with who you are, who you were, and who you want to become, right? It's like this constant like circle. And that's how I believe the ego really comes into play when we're talking about something like this. And I'm glad that you brought it up. And it's funny how similar our Buzz of the Days and Pour Over segments are going to be. Like, it's really interesting. I appreciate you sharing that and being open. It brought up a lot of good points, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just some things you just have to accept. And, you know, I think this is also a thing. It's like we want to control the narrative. We want to control people's past. Like, okay, I don't want her to be with a guy that was like that. I want her to be with this kind of guy. But that's just not how life works. That's just not how life works. And your partner chooses you for a reason, loves you for a reason, and is with you for a reason. And like, that's what I'm learning is that it's not about that, you know. In our society, what guys we talk about is important and being jacked and being big, like, and being macho and masculine. Like, none of that stuff translates into being a good lover, you know, a good man, a masculine man, you know, in the right sense. So definitely something that I've had to work through for sure. But I'm grateful and I forgive. I forgive myself for dealing with that. I'm grateful that I went through this and that. And I'm out on the other side in a place that I could have easily just ran from because I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with myself.
Fuck yeah.
So that's that. But
Dude.
do you want to hit the buzz your buzz of the day? Awesome.
I love it, dude. Good shit. That's some real ass shit right there, and I appreciate it. My buzz of the day. It's kind of just what I was talking about there with the ego thing. Remember who you were. Focus on who you want to become. So remembering who you were, right? I've been in a position in my life where I look back on my past and my stomach drops. I look back on my past and my heart starts beating super fast. I get a little fucking worked up thinking about what I did, how I treated that person, and how I approached a situation, whatever it is, and negative emotions come up. They start to arise and they fill my body up, and that is right there. There's growth waiting to happen there. And this is what I'm realizing. Well, this is what I've been working on. And I've been revisiting these moments in my life where I had a self-destructive behavior. I felt as if I negatively impacted somebody else's life. I felt as if I made the wrong decision. I felt as if I failed. And I've been revisiting these moments in my life and approaching them with what I know now, who I am now. And I'm not trying to change the narrative and shift anything or rewrite any story. I'm just meeting that situation with who I am now and accepting it and appreciating it for who I am now, who it made me, who it turned me into, right? Because I never would be who I am today without those situations. And if I can look back and not get the stomach drop or the heartbeat and the bad taste in my mouth and like just feel bad, like, fuck, I can't believe I did that. If I can look back on my past and find acceptance, find love, find appreciation for even the worst shit, then I'm going to be able to move through my life currently in a different manner. Say a situation approaches, I know what to do. I know how to act. I know how to respond. And I trust myself to respond and act in a positive manner, So I've been really playing with that, and it's been very beneficial. So that's remembering who you were. And then focusing on who you want to become. Now, this is like the fun part because it's imagination, if you will, but it's possible too, right? So you know where you want to go, right? You spend so much time with yourself. You've developed yourself in the way that you understand the direction you want to move in life. It's clear, it's concise, which a lot of people don't have. You have the ability to do that too. And I believe that it starts with accepting your past. Once you can clear up your past in that way, it's going to help you refine your future a little bit more and maybe shine the light or clear some things up with that path forward. So say you have your direction and you have your path and you start building structures and routines in your current everyday life to start stepping one by one, walking to that person you want to become. You envision it. You close your eyes. You see the person you are. You see the business that you want to create. You see the family that you want to create. You see the house that you want to build. You envision all these things, and then you make a plan and a process to get there, right? And you're using everything from the past to help you along the way. So using things that were bad or are bad, perceived as bad, to help you become good is basically what I'm trying to say here. You know what I mean? And I think the act of revisiting my past, and it's hard because you don't want to relive those moments. But if you sit by yourself and you take the time and you close your eyes and you relive it a little bit, think about it. Don't let it overcome you with fear. And yeah, it's scary, you know. We've all done fucked up shit. We've all hurt people. We've all did shit that probably wouldn't go back and do now. But finding acceptance, you know, finding acceptance in that and being able to move through that is so beneficial. And I think it helps you become the person that you want to become. I think it's an important process. It goes hand in hand, in my opinion. That's my buzz of the day.
I love that. Can you read your quote one more time for me so I can give a take?
It's basically just like a paraphrase of everything I described. Remember who you were, focus on who you want to become.
So you're saying, do you think sitting back and, I mean, I'll be honest, like that's a tough thing to do. It's looking back on everything that you've disappointed other people with, your behavior, your actions. Like that's not a fun place to be and sit with. Like I think us as human beings tend to bury some of that stuff so it doesn't impact us, right? As much as we can, you know, sometimes sometimes it comes out subconsciously, but you know, if you bury things deep down enough, you don't bring them up again. You can move through life without it. You know, you'd be surprised about how your brain works, right? Like that is a possibility. That's what a lot of people do, right? They get through it. They just carry it, whatever. And some people can do it. Some people can't. But there's always a positive, I feel like, in looking at those scenarios and learning from them and like unpacking them. Because yes, it's going to be challenging. Yes, it's going to be hard. Like I don't want to talk about this when I was 20 and I did this. Like I don't want to talk about it to a neutral third party. That's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to talk about this to you. Like, there's certain things we do as human beings that we are ashamed of, not proud of. And like, that's not a fun thing to do. Sit with those memories. Like, that's just not a good time. So I think if you can do that and have the upwelling of emotions and like feel it and learn from it and grow, like, or take something from it, or send that out to the ether, send that out to the people, like get it off your chest and maybe have someone else like talk through it with you, you know,
dude,
then that's where kind of your growth starts. Right. And kudos to you for doing that. It's not, you know, I think everyone knows this. It's so hard to do that or even think about stuff like that, because then, you know, it's so hard for that not to ruin the rest of your day or your mood. Right. So like you're having a good day. It's sunny, 75, you're out surfing, like something triggers a past memory about a certain subject. Someone says something and then you're stuck in that. It's so hard. It's so much harder to get out of that rather than just, you know, if you bury it deep enough, it usually doesn't come up. Right. So it's like, well, how can I learn then? Just like this certain thing that I just talked about in my buzz of the day that came up with my girlfriend, then, you know, what can I learn about that? What can I learn about myself? You know, what's the lesson that I learned here that I can give to my kids one day? I never would have been able to have the perspective I do now if I wasn't told what I was told from my girlfriend, right? Like I wouldn't have that perspective.
Right.
And that's something I'm grateful for, because I'm a human being on this collected earth together in one force, one energy, everyone's tied together, right? So if I can drop in and sit with that and have a certain level of acceptance with everyone's past, then that's going to put me in a much better headspace and place than it is just to be like, oh, okay, you know, bury it, like whatever, fuck.
Yeah,
you know,
dude, definitely. And you brought up something awesome there. It was like, you're having a great day, everything's good, and something triggers a memory from the past, right?
Yep.
We have all been there. And it's almost this addictive relationship to that memory where you stay in it and you ruminate, and the negative talk and the negative feelings, they continue and they span out over hours, days, sometimes a week, right? And if you take the steps to work through that past memory in a healthy way and find love, find appreciation, find gratitude for it, if that thought gets triggered again, you're not going to respond in the same way. You might just think about it, give it a little smile, head nod, remind yourself, yep.
Okay, that happened. So what? You learn from it.
It happened.
You have a perspective now.
Yeah, exactly. And then it stops there.
Yeah.
And you can continue having a good day when it's 75 and sunny and you're surfing, right?
100%, bro. 100%. So I love that shit, man. I think that's important. I appreciate you sharing your story. And I think, I think the audience is going to take a lot away from what you described and some of those past experiences and like turning that into the person you want to be. Mm-hmm. We all make mistakes. We're human beings for a reason, right? We're not robots who are programmed with AI to be perfect, say the perfect thing at every given time, right? Like, it's not us. And that's the beautiful thing about the human experience, is that we have these emotions, we have these experiences that shape us into who we are today. And we can either run from them or learn from them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've learned in my life, is that, am I going to let a comment, am I going to let something that someone says dictate my reality? Like, no. Then I would just be running from everything. Say if I'm in another relationship and something gets brought up again.
Same shit.
What am I going to do then?
Yeah.
Am I going to get fucked up over it, or am I going to work through it? Am I going to run away from my problems? Because when you run away from your problems, that creates a really bad precedent for yourself, your cycle, everything.
You brought up a great point, dude. Before we move past that, what you did was you looked at yourself. Okay? You could have been in a position and pointed fingers and said, you said that was bad. It's your fault. There's the blame. I'm leaving. And that's where the situation left you. But instead, you turned it around. You looked at yourself. Okay? And you fucking took all these good fucking things away from the situation. Right? But, dude, shit. Who wouldn't have fucking blamed the person? Right? It's when you look inward. Proud of you. That's fucking real shit, bro. It's real shit.
That's when the true healing happens and the true, like, reality. And, like, thankfully with my situation, my girlfriend was very supportive through this time, and she realized that what we discussed was having an impact on me, right? I mean, like, I've never been in a situation in my life where and I mean this, like, in my 26 years, almost 27 years on this earth, I've never been in a situation where someone said something and I've lost sleep and lost weight and haven't eaten for 2 weeks in a row. That's never happened to me in my entire life. So obviously it hit me deep down where I was sensitive and where all the rumination and anxiety came out. But luckily I had a very supportive partner who said, pretty much, I didn't mean anything by it. It was a pragmatic saying. And I believe her. I have to believe her because she's spoken her reality. Mm-hmm. And I know how I am with her, and I know how we are. So thankfully I have a supportive partner and someone who just did not. Now, it would be different if this came up in a malicious intent to degrade someone or to say, this is what I prefer, right? That's not what happened.
Right.
Right? I think it would be different if my girlfriend said something like that, like that was directly pointed at me.
Yeah.
It was just her reflecting back on an experience. But, I think kudos to her. Like, she was comfortable around me enough to say something like that. Some things don't need to be said, but that's okay. And we corrected it. And I said, hey, moving forward, this is the boundary I'm setting. She understands. And that's where we are. And our relationship actually got better because of this. Well, and I know know where I stand now in my relationship, because even with what she said, that's not her reality.
Right.
That wasn't her reality. Like,
she looked
that
inward too, right?
and was like, okay, well, this actually doesn't mean anything to me. That was an uncomfortable time in my life, which I don't ever want to go back to. And I just said it just because it was just the truth, and I was just saying it.
She just said it, right? But when you looked inward and you communicated and you were vulnerable, you started trying to do the work on yourself for the relationship. She did the same thing, right?
Yep.
She took responsibility for the something that she said and apologized for it too, right?
Yep.
And she looked inward, and then, so it's kudos to her too. It's kudos to you. You guys worked through that like a fucking dream. And I think it's when you project and you place blame and then you run is where the issue will never be resolved in a situation like that. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking easy to do. You did this. It made me feel like this. I'm not happy. It's your fault. See you later. What comes of that, right? And you know, sometimes it is the answer to leave, but it's awesome that you guys stayed and figured it out. It's great.
Yep.
You want to do pour over?
Let me get into it. So
Yeah.
I'll be honest to our listeners and audience. I was sitting, prepping for this podcast last night, and I was like, what's based on what my buzz of the day is and what I know we're going to talk about. I think these are some really good questions that I'm going to ask you first. Because I want to hear from you about this.
Okay.
What is one thing that you've learned about yourself while being in a romantic relationship? And then I have one more to follow up. Like, out of all the relationships you've been in, I know you've been in a lot of different relationships, a lot of time with different people. Like, if you're going to take a common theme there, right? Like, look about the good and the bad times with every partner you've ever been with. Like, what's one thing that you've learned about Aiden?
Wow. I've learned that it doesn't have to pertain to the relationship, right? It's just about me.
Yeah, but what have you learned from about yourself while being in a romantic relationship? Like,
I've learned the power of patience and communication and the value in actively listening to someone. And if it's a healthy relationship, providing, right? So as a man, being a provider, you need to be able to have patience and listen and then act, I think. And something I've learned about myself is that I've developed that skill quite well. And it leaks into other aspects of my life, obviously, right? So I think what I've learned about myself is I'm a very patient person. I'm a very good listener. And yeah, I think those two right there play a huge role in the way that I communicate,
I love that, brother. I think that's so important. Like, active communication and listening is like, you see good relationships out there, that's what happens. You see bad relationships, it's really not like that. Cold shoulder, no, I don't want to talk about it. No, that just keeps you more disconnected and separates you more. Right. You got to lean in a little when you're in a relationship. And that's what I've learned as well. So I appreciate that. And then one more question for you. How do you feel loved the most by your partner? Like, how do you receive love? Like, what's something your partner, maybe not this maybe not this relationship, but with someone, in the past, like what is something that makes you feel loved and appreciated in a relationship that your partner does?
So I think that it comes down to physical intimacy, right? So I think that if my partner, I feel lots of love, right? That's the question. When my partner shows up for me in that way. And another way that I feel love and receive love is small acts of love, right? So obviously that's going to look different for everybody in every relationship. But for me, it's small things like having a loaf of bread to cut into when I go to make my breakfast, or, homemade, like time, energy, love spent into that for something that I get to also indulge in, right? I think that's amazing and appreciate it so much. Just small little things like that, like when I walk up onto the deck, I see flowers planted in a pot, right? She did it because she loves it and she enjoys it, but I'm like, damn, that's dope. I love that shit. It's little stuff like that. And
Funny how the little things matter so much more than the big stuff.
yeah, they definitely do matter for sure. But yeah, I'd say physical intimacy and small acts of love. For me, I'm a simple guy, man. I take care of my business and I know how to make myself happy, how to fill my day and my time and be efficient and be productive and be happy. So I can do that by myself, right? I don't need much in a relationship. And, it's the stuff like that that really does it for me.
Hell yeah, bro. What do you got for me? Pour over. Let's see what Ado's got cooking.
So mentioned it earlier. It's funny, just the theme here. But my question for you is, what does healthy masculinity look like to you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Healthy masculinity for me.
And there's so much to unpack here, so you can just like bullet point like some main things. It's not going to cover everything, but you know what I mean? Like, what are some main things?
Yeah. Emotional safety. You want your girl to feel emotionally safe with you. You want your girl to feel confident in her body and her mind with you. Like, hey, that's my man. Like, I'm proud to be with him. You want to have integrity. You want to show the utmost respect at every given moment. Never disrespect your woman. Have manners. Say please, thank you. I appreciate you. I end up telling my girl every day, like, hey, really appreciate you. Like, just thank you. I just like so great. I always say, I'm so grateful for you. Like, consistently reminding them like how much they mean to you. I think it's a way that I show my love and something that I'm proud of. Small acts of service. Buying your girlfriend coffee, right? If she's had a long day or long weekend, and she hasn't been outside all weekend, like for example, yesterday she was doing Pilates all day, and from 7 to 5, and I brought a little, got 2 Ollie Pops, a little blanket, and we went to the park after, and we just hung out together for like an hour outside. Then we went back to my place, and she was able to soften into me, and I was able to be her stable rock, and that feels really good because women they should be allowed to be emotional. They're women. They're in the wind. That's what a woman is, and they can be emotional. But the guy, what I'm learning is healthy masculinity is the guy doesn't need to be stoic. They just need to be secure in who they are, consistent with their love, and stable, and mentally and emotionally stable. And if they're not, that's okay. You can lean on the guy can lean on the woman for help and some emotional space, but it can't be all the time. It can't take the job of the woman of being the woman and having those natural characteristics like they're a little bit more emotional than guys. So I would just say respect, honesty, kindness, integrity with your actions, constant little acts of love, reminders of how much they mean to you. And that allows them to be in their feminine and sink into you and just love you and want to do stuff for you and with you. And like, it drives them crazy because it's like, wow, I've never felt this way and as safe and secure as I do with you, like in your arms before. Like that's, that's even for guys, it's an addicting feeling, right? When you have someone that makes you feel warm and fuzzy and at peace, like it's so hard to find that in today's world. And I think if you can be that kind of pillar of peace and stability and emotional safety for your woman, then that's what healthy masculinity is over any physical characteristic, any physical trait, anything, because that's just going to allow them to get, cracked open like a flower or a blossom and just her want to just give you as much love as she can. And that's what I think healthy masculinity is.
It's interesting that you based your answer so much off of women, right? Because it is masculine and feminine, but I think that my question, at least, a healthy masculine person.
Yeah, you should answer it now. I gave my take. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, all the things you talked about, you were just relating them to, like, in a relationship. I think what I took away from it is like, remove the relationship. What does the healthy masculine look like? Okay, you talked about consistency and stability, right? Forget the relationship. Consistency and stability. Okay, so you need to have that in yourself as a man before a relationship, or, you can find it during, whatever. But I'm just talking about you. I'm talking about the masculine. Consistency and stability. And you're present. Being present allows you to be actively listening and being able to understand your emotions and self-regulate, right? Because to be stable and to be consistent, you have to be able to self-regulate on a consistent basis and understand your feelings and work through them efficiently. And I think that a structure and a routine also shows up a lot for a healthy masculine male. Definitely. So, there's a lot of commonalities here. Your foundation is strong. You're stable. And how that shows up in a relationship is exactly like you said.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Something I've really struggled with in my relationship, because I'm realizing about myself, I'm pretty emotional. Mm-hmm. I take up a lot of emotional space, and I've damaged part of my relationship because I have done that. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that, and I'm learning and learning. So it's my first real relationship, and I don't want to hijack the conversation. I just want to tell you that that's so important as a guy, because you've been through so many relationships, and you understand how to have a good functioning relationship, Aiden. I am learning that. So it's such a hard thing to do. It's like you have someone else in your life that you're just like, I was acting like not like I was single, but I was in my independent brain for like probably 6 months. And I never realized, not saying I was in a committed relationship, but emotionally I was just like, everything was about me and my feelings. And then my girlfriend one time was breaking down. I was like, listen, like I come home from a long day and it's always about you, or a big conversation. It's like, just let it be good. And I was like, that resonated, because I'm like, I know. And then I'm like, Ronan, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you need to take up all the space? Give some space to her. It's not one-sided. So anyways, it's something I struggle with, and I'm learning like how to operate in that regard. So go ahead.
Well, you even said it yourself, dude, when you were talking about it. It's like, you said almost word for word, yes, a man can lean on his woman sometimes, right? Definitely. Of course. That's what, a ride or die is for. We got each other's backs no matter what. When I need you, you're there for me. And I trust that you're there for me. But yeah, man, 100%. I think that a man should be able to regulate his emotions in a healthy and efficient way to the point where he is a stable rock foundation for his woman to soften into. And you said it. You said that word for word, to soften into. And I couldn't agree more with you. That's it. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot more to unpack here, what healthy masculinity looks like. And maybe we can touch that on the next episode or in a future episode. But I think we covered a lot of bases here. And it's about time to wrap it up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. As always, we appreciate you and hope you took something away from it, and excited to come back and roll it out in the next 2 weeks, man. Rowan, appreciate you, man. Some real shit today, and much love, brother.
You too. Hey, we'll talk later, guys.